The Harper family drove through the iron gates. Excitement filled the air. The house stood tall, 3 stories of brick and ivy. "This is it," John Harper said, smiling at his wife, Susan. 12-year-old Billy and his teenage sister Sarah pressed their faces against the car windows. This house was more than just a home, it was a fresh start. John parked the car. They all piled out, eager to explore their new home. The house welcomed them with open arms. Sunlight streamed through stained glass windows, dust motes danced in the light. The air smelled old, like forgotten stories. The house was full of secrets. Each room had a story to tell. The grand staircase creaked with every step. Shadows danced on the walls. Billy loved the library the most. It had floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and a big fireplace. Sarah preferred her room. It was on the top floor and had a window seat overlooking the garden. She imagined spending hours there, reading and daydreaming. Sometimes late at night, they heard sounds. Soft whispers seemed to emanate from the walls. One night, Sarah woke with a start. The whispers were back, but this time they were clearer. "Help me," a voice seemed to say. She sat up in bed, her heart pounding. Moonlight streamed through the window, casting long shadows across the room. She got out of bed and crept towards the door. The whispers grew louder. They seemed to be coming from her parents' room. Sarah hesitated. She was scared, but she knew something was wrong. She took a deep breath and opened the door. The whispers led them to the attic. They found a dusty old diary hidden in a trunk. The diary belonged to a young woman named Emily who had lived in the house a century ago. As they read her words, the whispers grew stronger. Emily's story unfolded, filled with love, betrayal, and a broken heart. The walls whispered her sorrow. They whispered her anger. The house was alive with her pain. With each passing day, the whispers grew more frequent, more insistent. The house was trying to tell them something, to share its secrets, but were they ready to listen? Fear crept into their lives. The whispers divided the family. John dismissed them as old house noises. Susan became withdrawn, haunted by Emily's sadness. Billy was scared, but also strangely drawn to the mystery. Only Sarah seemed determined to uncover the truth. "We have to help her," she insisted. "But how do you help a ghost?" The house held them captive, its secrets weaving a web around them. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. Emily's presence was growing stronger. Driven by the relentless whispers, Sarah returned to the attic. The air was thick with dust and the scent of decay. The whispers led her to a loose floorboard in the corner. Beneath it she found a small wooden box. Inside the box lay a collection of letters, tied with a faded ribbon. The letters told a story of forbidden love, of a secret engagement and a jealous rival. Emily had been engaged to a young man named Edward, but their love was torn apart by lies and deceit. He had been falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit and forced to flee. Emily, heartbroken and believing Edward had abandoned her, took her own life in the very room Sarah now called her own. The whispers reached a crescendo. "He never stopped loving me," Emily's voice echoed through the attic. "He was framed!" With a deafening crack, the attic door slammed shut, trapping Sarah inside. Panic surged through her. She was trapped with a heartbroken ghost and a century-old mystery. The house was in turmoil. The whispers became screams. They echoed Emily's despair, her rage, her undying love. The family downstairs heard the commotion. They rushed to the attic, but the door wouldn't budge. John threw his shoulder against it again and again, but it wouldn't give. "Sarah," he roared, his voice filled with terror, "we'll get you out." But Sarah knew it was too late. Emily's presence was overwhelming, consuming. Then, as suddenly as it began, the chaos ceased. The house fell silent. John finally broke through the door. They found Sarah sitting in the middle of the attic, her eyes wide and unseeing. "It's okay," she said softly. She just wanted her story told. The Harpers never forgot their time in the house on the hill. They learned that some houses hold on to their pasts, their walls whispering secrets, long forgotten. They left the house, but Emily's story stayed with them, a reminder that love and loss can echo through time. The house stood empty once more, its secrets safe within its walls, waiting to be discovered by the next family brave enough to listen.